Well, I know right now there's a big thing on TV with the NutriBullet, and you know, we were way before that, way before that. And I taught all my clients.
My problem with the NutriBullet is it's too small.
Too small. The volume is not sufficient to give enough fiber, to give enough nutrient density, and enough hydration.
My drink in the morning is a 20-ouncer.
Yeah.
And then my drink in the evening is usually another. I usually do it twice a day.
Yeah. I remember another famous anti-aging doctor came with my, unique livings, and as you know, I only allow a few people, with exception occasionally, and he had the drink, and I gave him literally, it was a 48-ounce drink, and he looked at it and he said, "I'm supposed to drink this whole thing?" Over the next week? I said, no, now, today.
I think that was me, actually. I think that was me, because I remember half the picture, I was like, I think that was me, Nick.
Well, there was another one, too. I wasn't going to own up to until you said it. Okay. But then the other gentleman came back and he goes, he's a doctor, and he goes, "I wouldn't have believed the transient time that would have gone through and stimulated peristalsis and cleansing." And he says, "That's amazing. Within one drink. You don't have to wait a week to see the benefits. You notice within hours, right?" Yeah.
I mean, this body is amazing.
The body's amazing.
When you do some very simple things, and I'm talking about in the sickest patients possible. You do some very simple things, they improve so significantly. If you have a GI tract that is semi-functioning, you'll see a difference with a blended drink. It's the patients that have more of a GI issue that we're looking at other ways of getting that nutrient value in.
I remember years ago I had an infomercial producer come out from Boston, and they wanted me to demonstrate my whole powder. And I said, okay, no problem, we'll go on television, we'll do this. And I said, but I want a blender and I want to add some other whole fresh things into it. I said, this supplement's outstanding, no doubt about it, but I want to add and teach the audience that whole food nutrition can be done, in a meal. And these things are, a supplement's a supplement, and these additions are whole food. And they looked at me and said, no one's going to go for that. They convinced me, and they said, no, we're not going to do it. We'll show your powder just mixed with some water. Or if you want to show the blender thing, go ahead, do it. And now look at what these other companies are doing. And I was back in the year 2000, 2004, telling them this is what we need to teach.
Good ideas.
Too ahead of our time at times, right?
No, you and I used to talk about that a lot. It's like, how do we get this thing out to the market? You went with the powdered route, and really what we should have done with the blender route.
And then work backwards.
But still, I mean, there's still so much. There's so much value in that Delgado blended drink. I mean, and I give that still out to patients, saying this is a good formula. There's ways that you and I both tweaked it over the years. I understand now that you're using a lot of your green juices as your base. It's something I'm going to have to incorporate, because I still use water. But it
takes one extra step. But I've got my little 6-year-old who'll jump on the counter and help me juice.
It's so quick to do it, though. I mean, it takes minutes in the morning. I mean, and people are like, I have to go buy the vegetables. I walk past the grocery store every day. It doesn't take me time to go in and get some vegetables. I mean, it's like, is that 5 minutes or 10 minutes that I have to spend the course of my day to have that much health given back, imbued into me? That's an easy equation.
And with my greens, I'll juice in sometimes some beets, occasionally carrots, and I'll put that juice with the bok choy, the Napa cabbage, the Delgado Slim Blend protein, and the Stem Cell Strong. And so I've got this marvelous high fiber, high nutrient dense, and people say, well, where's the water? Well, the water is coming from the fruits and vegetables. So it works fine. And I find with the fiber, with the Slim Blend Pro, and the fiber from the other whole foods like sweet potatoes, that it allows the slowing of the absorption of the nutrients so that it doesn't rush in too fast, so you still get a good blood sugar balance, but you get that kind of almost a high. I notice when I add the greens, and I notice the nitric oxide levels really go up nicely. I add that with the Stay Young that we're doing with the chewable tablet with the new red spinach leaf. It's called a nitric oxide burst. And I go into my workout, and it's like, I feel like I want to just dominate. I feel like a doctor said yesterday when I interviewed, I feel like a bulldog wanting to release a lot of energy, and then I just feel like this nirvana, like, life, right?
I haven't tried your new supplements in my drink, but I can express that the blended drink in the morning is what I do before my workout. And when I don't do the blended drink, I really don't have the energy to work out.
It makes for a better workout.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
Yep.
I don't work out when I don't have the, it's those days that, because things are going on, but I wouldn't have the energy to work out anyway. It really does wake me up, brings my brain online, because I'm one of those people that I wake up and I wake up refreshed, but my brain still isn't quite firing on all cylinders for about, until I actually have the blended drink in the morning. So.
Two important questions. How do you balance the adrenals while you're wanting to balance the thyroid? Would you help a person with chronic fatigue to help them with their adrenals and thyroid before you'd ever consider testosterone or other anabolics, estrogen, and so forth? Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say that's never a never. But it would, I can't say that's never a never. But the adrenal and the thyroid energy pattern has to be corrected. So when you're talking about, I always think about the adrenal, the thyroid, and the insulin pattern together, because they're all they're all hormones involved in energy, and you have to get that improved and online before you actually start using the testosterone. Because what are the testosterone and the estrogen? They're the anabolics. They're the things that build up the system, and the body's not going to build if it doesn't have energy. Right. So it's talking about. Which brick you're going to put in the dam first, or which brick you're going to remove, and you have to work on the energy part first before you work on the testosterone. Now, if it's that their energy is pretty good, but they need a little tweak here, but then they can use the anabolics afterwards, I may combine them in the same visit. But typically, I'm working on the GI system, the brain, and the digestion first, and then rapidly thereafter, the thyroid, the adrenals, and then down the hormones. But part of integrative medicine for me is not doing one thing at a time, because in general, you can do many of these things at the same time.
It's like an orchestra.
It's an orchestra.
Putting it all together.
I've had clinicians tell me that that's too much information for patients to absorb and to institute in one visit. I disagree with that. I think that's too much information for the clinician to express in one visit. That may be where the frustration is. It's not that the patient can't do it, but they can't give them all that information. So that's where the tools come in, like Power to Practice with the software, so you actually have the plan laid out for the patient, so it has the ability to let the patient know what to do on a daily basis. And the other pearl is, don't wait a long time to bring them back for their next appointment, because it's not going to take them a long time to start seeing the positive effects. And you want to be able to adjust and move quickly. Being agile in integrative medicine with a patient's health and keeping that ball rolling is critical to their improvement and then their compliance.
Now, some of this, Dr. Paul Savage, is new language, not only to particularly physicians, but even to the patients. So I find myself now transcribing with my transcriber while I'm talking to the client and sharing with them, here's our findings, here's what the plan's going to be, and I realize as I'm going, some of the things may be over their head at that moment, but then it's the follow-up education, the staff, the support, the follow-up videos, putting that all together, because at some point they're going to go, oh yeah, he did tell me about that. And sometimes that's good with the group dynamic visits that you do too. One patient's further ahead, right? They're a graduate or they're into the program.
They talk to each other, and that patient support of, I get it, I had that problem too, we have that a lot. Here's what I did for that, or the patient, patients reaching out to other patients saying, I understand, but keep with it. For some people it takes us longer than other people. We see that a lot, and the amount of the connectiveness that patients get from these group visits is significant, because they know they're not alone. They not only have you, but they have other people. It's interesting when physicians say, oh, my patients wouldn't be interested in that, then my answer to that is they haven't tried it yet. Because if you offer that to patients, and you just offer to that group of patients, which you're going to talk about that specific issue. So you talk to obesity with the people that you want to lose weight, or you talk about the chronic fatigue, or you talk about the bowel issue, colitis. It's amazing on how these group visits not only help share information, but give them a connectiveness that they didn't have before.
Yeah, and you know, it's great because we walk through the halls here with over 5,000 physicians and scientists from all over the world.
That's a lot this time.
And you and I think about that, and we go, well, you know, some of these people are new, some are, like we were saying, the dinosaurs, the early pioneers, if you will.
Longevity. We're longevity.
Because dinosaurs went extinct. So we're enduring. But what I like about what you're doing with the Power to Practice is and this is something I always respected about you. I guess it's maybe the mathematic background and then integrating with the physician in you, but you were fearless in looking at how to take software and the latest about all we're learning with smartphones and apps and everything.
I just had to wait for the technology to catch up with the vision, which is not uncommon when you have a lot of people who know what they want to do, but the technology hasn't gotten there yet. Now the technology is amazing, and it's going to continue to get so. So that's it's going to change the way physicians interact with their patients, because the physician now has an assistant, which is the software, which can continually inform the patient. It can reward the patient. It can
like video game rewards?
Gamifying is all what Power to Practice is about.
Really?
It's all about gamifying for the patient on the patient portal, and to some degree on the physician's portal, because we want them to have an enjoyable experience as they're doing their work.
Well, my 22-year-old son and my 36-year-old son, and of course you met my 22-year-old when he was barely 14, 15, fresh back from London competitions.
Big guy.
But he'll appreciate it because he loves games. Now, if you're building in games to at least the concept, I understand. The integration.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
learning.
There's a lot of ways to reward patients with their cell phone apps. You know, and that's the addiction of the gamification.
Well, we're here at Las Vegas. I mean, isn't that what every gambling thing rewards you with a ding, 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 ding?
But medicine can take advantage of technology in rewarding patients with the serotonin release, the endorphins, and all those type of things that patients can get, and you can incorporate that technology. A simple way of doing this, and right now we're currently integrating this in Power to Practice, is that the physician can ask the software to send the patient a gratitude message, song, video, whatever we program into the file, and then they repeat in certain loops, so that the patient gets a message of, hey Bob, Dr. Delgado, this is your message for today. Remember I told you to take 5 minutes and enjoy, or filling out their Fitbit activity or their nutritional calendar that they get rewards for improving. Hey, you did better than yesterday. You know, you did more steps today than you did yesterday. Congratulations from Dr. Delgado. It really looks like this software is acting as an adjunctive technology to you to make the patients feel, and even though they know that's really not you, that you're watching them and you're involved with them. So you're touching them every day. The part about marketing and health and business and medicine is how many times can you touch the patient, because that's what changes behaviors.